Big up, big up, and have a good night, everybody. How are you doing? It's your boy MarkN, MUFC fan. Big up to you, Rajat Felicia coming true. How are you doing, my homie? I hope you're good, bro. I just wanted to bring you guys some information. As you know who it is, the manager had the press conference today. It's the 2 days before the FA Cup final, guys. Still Thursday. Friday, and then D-Day, guys. We have the Manchester Derby at the FA Cup final for a second season in a row. That has to be some accomplishment, despite the dismal season that United have had. Well, we could go into the many issues that we have this season, but first, guys, I would like to ask you all, take this time to smash a like and subscribe. Those of you are new, hit the notification bell so you can see whenever I'm live. And those of you joining on X, don't forget, please give me a little retweet, smash a like on the post. Help the channel grow. I'm gonna be eternally grateful to all of you for this. I'm enjoying the evening, bro. Like, I was hanging out with some of my buddies after Deutsch course, and I don't know if you guys know, but I live in Germany, and where I live, the team just qualified for the Bundesliga 1. So it's a huge deal in the city right now. So everyone's having a good time. And that's the positivity I'm taking into the Manchester United performance on this weekend. But guys, let's hear what the manager has to say as I bring this to the stage. And let's watch the manager's press conference part 1 and hear what he has to say about Manchester United and how they will be faring.
Hello and welcome to a really important managers' press conference as we look ahead to the FA Cup final against Manchester City at Wembley. Okay, let's hear, shall we, from Erik ten Hag.
Hi Eric. It's obviously been a bumpy season for everyone connected to the club. How important is it to end on a high and really kick on tomorrow?
It's all about trophies, and we have a huge opportunity to win a trophy. And so last 10 years, not so many trophies in this club, but we have an opportunity to win 2 trophies in 2 years.
What's the team use situation? We've seen the likes of Mount, Lindelof and Martial in training pictures. Are they going to be available? For what part? Is Maguire unavailable? Where are we at?
Yeah, Harry Maguire is unavailable, but for the rest, all the players you mentioned, they are, I think, available. We are tomorrow, final training. And we make final decisions, but if I oversee it now, it looks good.
Has Maguire had a setback, or is it just?
I don't think so. No, it's just he didn't heal as we expected.
Eric, could you just talk to us a bit about Marcus Rashford? Obviously, he's had a difficult season. This week he was left out of the England squad, which would have been a blow to him as well. What is his state of mind at the moment, and how fit is he?
He looks good, and that is a career, ups and downs, and so a down can also give you fuel, and that is what I see in training. So he will be highly motivated, and I just said, speak with your feet. He's highly talented. He has already a big career, and I'm sure he will get over this, and he will make even more goals.
And can I just ask about you? How important do you think this game is for you?
Not every game I want to win, and that's it. And I just focusing on this game as I do for every game, and I know it's an important game because it's about a trophy.
Eric, what's been your key messaging this week? Because it is an opportunity at Wembley to salvage what has been not a very good season for Manchester United.
No, but it's FA Cup final is a big event, and we are there. And even in the season, what's not in our way, we are there, and we have an opportunity. And it's never be easy, but we have to go for it, and we will go for it, and we have to believe it, as we did last season, and as we know often against good opponents. We play our best football, and I expect to do this the same on Saturday.
Obviously, because it's such a big opportunity, all your focus is on Wembley, but have you been planning for post that match, pre-season, summer recruitment?
Yeah, of course, but my focus is not in this moment. Until Saturday, I only think about this game.
Hi, Eric. For people who might think tomorrow could be your last game in charge, what would you say about that?
I have nothing to say. I just focusing on the job I have to do, and that is first win the game on Saturday, and then we are in the project and keep going in the project.
Would it be fair to judge you on one game against a team like Manchester City? And if not, how would you want to be judged? Obviously, a successful first season, this season not. How would you want your time here to be judged?
I came here to win trophies. Saturday I have the next opportunity, and we achieved this. We earned this opportunity as a team, and now we have to go for it. And in the same time, in the last 2 years, of course, so after every season you review it, and then we will see where we are in the project and things what we have to change. But we spoke lately about it. Underneath, there are very cool things, players coming up, players developing, values coming up, and in the same time, we have on Saturday a big opportunity to win the next trophy.
Thank you.
Eric, you've lost back-to-back games against Manchester City this season. Are you going to have to approach this game a little bit differently with it being an FA Cup final? Are you going to have to change your system, your style, your tactics for it to make it more competitive?
I think we were very competitive till a VAR decision on Old Trafford. Was a tough decision, I thought. Didn't understand. No one understood. We haven't seen this in the rest of the season. Decision in such a moment in a penalty situation, and at ETH we were 70 minutes. We were very good in the game. We had the opportunities to score a second goal, and then they could sub. We didn't have a bench, and that's a big difference. On Saturday we will have a bench. We will have a much stronger side.
And that's just about it. But we've got
Sorry guys. Big up to you, DJ Superfly. You know, I'm chilling, enjoying the day. You know what it is? Trying to get the information, absorb it all, and try to give my own interpretation of what I've understood. But also, what are you guys thinking about what the manager has been saying? The last question that he said, that he answered, was saying that, we haven't changed much. I think we've been competitive all season, but a lot of the calls, like the VAR calls late in games, especially the one at Manchester United at Old Trafford, it has been disappointing. you know but at the same time, he's not really trying to make any excuses. As you can see, he's fully focused on the FA Cup final, whether it's his last game or not. He has reported that he has planned for the future. And that's very interesting to note, because if there's been planning with Erik ten Hag for the future and what players are going to be promoted, what players are going to be brought back, what players are leaving, then I think that's positive news. And we should be all focused on the finals, supporting the manager, supporting the club, supporting the players, despite all the season's performances and despite what we think. Until the window opens in 2 weeks, this is what we have. We have a final to win on Saturday, guys. So we need to be focused as United fans. Send your support to the players. They're going to need every single ounce of support that they can get, because we need a brilliant performance on Saturday. We need a type of performance where we come out the blocks and shock Manchester City, probably get some early goals and put them on the back foot. You know what I mean? So, guys, be supportive. At the end of the day, whether you're Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out, or Ten Hag out, we're all Manchester United fans, and we have a big game on Saturday. Let's gear up, guys. Let's get ready for war, because it's a derby, and we have to get some revenge against City. Imagine we can take the cup from City this season, what it means. Not only have we stopped City finally from winning a cup, but they also only win the Premier League this season. They got knocked out by Real Madrid out of the UCL. They're not in that final. So if we knock them out here, it's a double whammy. The noisy neighbors are back. Real Madrid are on top. And it's not Man City. And they won the Premier League, but guys, come on, we all know they've been preparing for this for the last few years. They won their first UCL last season. They have a star-studded squad that has been prepped and coached for the last, probably the oldest player in the squad has been there for 5-6 seasons. The newest players who were in that title winning team, some of them were there for 1 season, 2 seasons, but largely the starting 11 was there for 3 to 4 seasons plus. And when you look at that, guys, there's a pattern with all these top clubs that win consistently and consistently compete. All their players have spent more than 3 years in their system, working, learning, adapting. And then they usher in new players to keep bolstering that. And they have all these players who already know the system to work off of, to base their start off of, which puts them in a better position, guys. We have to admit that. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to defend Ten Hag, but I'm just trying to say something, guys, that whether it's Ten Hag or not, if a new manager comes in, there's going to be a review period, which means there's going to be a delay in transfers because he might want to keep some players that we might want to go. You know what I mean? He might want to use those players. Then he might want to bring in his own players. It's going to be a time frame where we may not even finish top 4 next season again with a new manager. We could be finishing another low finish next season. It's very possible, guys. So we have to always take all these things into account. It sounds really good to say the manager didn't do this, the manager didn't do that. But let's be honest, guys. The manager doesn't tell these guys not to score goals not to take shots when they're in the box, not to score. The manager is not telling these guys to take shots over the bar, around the bar, or take shots into players. The manager is not telling these players, don't pass the ball to the striker. Don't use the best option in the box. I could never believe that, guys. You know what I mean? So sometimes, yes, the manager has lots of fault to take in the season, but also the players have to be responsible as well. Like Jose Mourinho once said, players need to be responsible. They need to have their own drive and self-motivation to want to win. And then the manager can inspire them to be even better. You know what I mean, guys? So what are your thoughts? Let me know what you're thinking about the manager's press conference. Those of you are now joining, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe. And, let us know. Let us know what you're thinking, guys. It would be really good to hear. GJ Superfly, you know what? It's very possible he's not leaving because, as we know, I explained to everyone before, he has a year left on his contract with a year extension that could be triggered by Manchester United. And it's going to cost us. And if you know, guys, we have a £35 million cash reserve to start spending immediately in the window. And then a possible total budget of £125 million. That doesn't sound likely like a real bolstering war chest that's going to replace the squad with 6 to 7, 8 signings of a certain elite class, unless we're going for some signings with potential. Guys, so you're going to have to look at it differently. You're going to have to look at it from a perspective where this season, we could be getting rid of players, but we could be bringing in some players with potential that are coming in. Maybe 1 or 2 players that might be like creative buys on a free, like possibly a Rabiot coming into the midfield on a free, a Rita Bayo coming in on a free in the defense. Everyone knows that he's probably going to choose Manchester United ahead of Newcastle and other comers because at the end of the day, we're Manchester United. So, I don't think you need to be worried about that too much. I think it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be easy to do. You know what I mean? If these guys are really serious, they're going to do the business early. Just like the news has been announced early that Raphael Varane is leaving before the window even opened. Hopefully, they've already spoken to some players and, especially the ones that we can get on a free, and they already line them up to sign those contracts in the first few weeks. Because maybe Tosin may not be going to Euros or the Copa Americas. So he's going to be able to come in and start training after his 2-week break or 3-week break. He's going to be able to come in and start training before the end of June. There's also going to be the likes of Rabiot coming in, who's probably not going to the Euros with France this year, but is still going to hope to try to make the squad for the World Cup in 2026, which could be very important because he could come here and have a really good season driven by that want to play one last World Cup. And we could have a brilliant 2 seasons off of him on a free. He's got legs, lots of legs. He's only 28 years old, guys. So I won't write him off. I think he's one of those register type midfielders that could also do the breaking in the midfield defensively really well, and he could also play a pass forward. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to be interesting to see if we actually go in for him. I know a lot of people doesn't like the fact that he has this situation with his agent, who's also his mother, and she might be a bit of a problem, but I think Barada and these guys are not the type of, lackadaisical, or should I say laxed figures who have no real football intelligence or actually proper working ethics like we had before. So I think these guys are going to make proper and clear their demands, as well as their willingness to meet the demands, but it's definitely going to be on terms. And I think she's going to have to be on her best behavior, because at the end of the day, we're Manchester United. You know what I mean? So if you look at those 2 signings coming in on a free, that's going to replace Varane surely in defense. That's one defender coming in there. That's a midfielder coming in who's probably going to be replacing Eriksen. There's also some rumors that Casemiro might be leaving, guys. So, that opens up a large chunk of spend. And if he's leaving, he's going to be bought by Saudi. That's probably going to be somewhere in the region of 35 million pounds. We get that kind of money. You can quickly reinvest that in a possible signing of someone like a Joao Gomez, who's Premier League proven from Wolves. He also comes on and plays the DM position for Brazil in replacement as a substitute for Casemiro. He started two of the games recently when Casemiro was out. I think he's a very good player, someone who can still develop. He has lots of legs, very tenacious and good on the ball as well. I think that's going to be a great addition to our midfield. We also have to consider there's a lot of the young talent who have been signing new contracts. The likes of Joe Scanlon signing his contract today, his first professional contract at Manchester United. He's an attacking midfielder that can also play off the wing. So that's one of those potential. The young team, the under 18s, they won a treble this season. These guys have been head and shoulders above the rest, to be fair. So it's one of those things where, it might not be a case where they're all going to succeed. But if given the chance, I'm pretty sure they've been playing the Ten Hag way all season. I've been watching them over for the last 7 years. And in the last 2 seasons, their style of play has changed. They actually play the way that the first team should be playing, Ten Hag style football. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jonathan Tah from Bayer Leverkusen is a good center back. I think it might be a good option, but I would rather, if I have to go for another center back, guys, I don't know if you remember, but I did a scouting report in December from a lot of center backs that we were in serious scouting for, and one of them was Goncalo Ramos. But the one I'm really liking is because he's only priced somewhere in the region of 40 million euros, which is something like 31 million pounds or 28 million pounds, somewhere between that region. I could be wrong, but in conversion, I believe it's something like that. And his name is Giorgio Scalvini, guys. He plays for Atalanta. He's best friends with Rasmus Højlund. He's been playing for Atalanta as a starter for the last 18 months. And he is only 20 years old, guys. And he has been stalwart. In the final, he, for me, was the greatest impact. No nonsense. Reading the game early. Very physical. Tall guy. Strong. Very good on the ball. You know what I mean? I think he's very interesting. I've been watching a lot of Atalanta games, and in the last 10 games, they've won 9 of them. One of them was held postponed because of Fiorentina's manager passing away, sadly, the owner of the club, I mean. And it's one of those things where, I look at his performance and he's integral to the way they tick. He's a metronome in the defense as well. They also have a youngster in the midfield by the name of Emerson, who's very, very good. He's really good. Like, I feel like I've been watching him in Italy, and I try not to hype him up too much because it's Italy, and I think the league is a little bit slower. But watching him play against the Bayern Leverkusen midfield yesterday, it was interesting how he dominated that midfield. So, I feel like he might be ready for the step up. It's one of those things that might be possible, that can be done, because they're not going to be expensive buys. Like I said to you, 125 million barring sales. Imagine we sell Casemiro and maybe sell Lindelof. That's another 40, 50 million, so that's 50 million. And that 50 million could get both of them, because it's going to be 50 million pounds. You get 50 million pounds and you try to see if you could cut a deal where you pay 20 and 30 and have some add-ons, get those two players in. They will be joining Rabiot and the likes of possibly Arida Bayor. There's also been reports that Man United are ready to trigger Anselmino's contract, the young defender, centre-back, 6'1" at Boca Juniors. He was in the region somewhere of 17 million euros, but now it's been gone up since he had an updated contract signature done, and now he's going to be somewhere in the region of a exit clause of 25 million euros, which in all effect is probably going to be somewhere in the region of 15 million pounds. I think we might do that deal as well, because he's a young, very talented defender coming up with great potential. He's a starter for Boca Juniors, and if anyone watches South American football, Boca Juniors, it's like playing in the biggest team on in the continent of South America, guys. So, I think he can handle the pressure, and I feel like there's going to be a chance of a swap deal going on, like DJ Superfly is mentioning in here, because as you know, there's some reports that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not that happy, and it might be dependent on him leaving if we get a right back. And it's possible that, maybe we're gonna see him go to Crystal Palace and see Mark Guehi come in exchange. You never know what could happen, guys. But there's also some interest from Inter Milan for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, so you never know. He might be going that way, and Denzel Dumfries might be coming the other way. It's very possible. We can only look forward to the summer and see how they do it. But we definitely need to be tapping into the South American market, guys, because, I'm going to be shameless and say there's a youngster that plays for Trinidad and Tobago. His name is Noah Powder. He plays in the midfield, a DM/CM, a box-to-box 8 hybrid 6. He's very physical, very quick, has a serious shot from his left foot, and has a very good curler on his right. He can play a good brand of football. I think if I had to say, I would say he's probably in the region where he has the potential to be one of the, maybe a top DM in Europe if given the chance. I think right now he's supposed to be like 24 or 25 years old. He's a respectable lad coming from Trinidad and Tobago, plays for the national team. It's going to be, not going to be an expensive signing, but one that could prove to be vital for us, because he's a dogged type of midfielder. He plays a very similar game to Emerson from Atalanta, and I think he's a little bit better in my opinion, but maybe you guys might think I'm being raw because I'm Trini at the end of the day. He next to Licha, I'm 100% telling you, you get Giorgio Scalvini next to Licha, our backline is secured for the next 5-6 seasons. That guy is exactly what we need. He plays a sort of game very similar to Alessandro Nesta from Milan back in the day. He has that kind of quickness on the ball. He knows how to move. He can play a pass, very good in the air, physical guy. Olise, I'm not sold on this guy. He has an injury problem, and I'll be really honest with you lot. I think Mason Greenwood is twice as good as this guy. I would keep him. That saves us money. That's 50 to 70 million that we're not spending in an unnecessary position, because we could just bring this guy back for free. You know what I mean? And guys, if you're mad at that, I'm just saying, go look at the highlights from his performances in Spain and tell me this guy has not been playing his heart out, trying to redeem himself by the performances he's been showing week in, week out. And I'm telling you now, if you guys think we have a huge budget, it's something that's a myth, guys, because pay attention. The roof is falling over our heads, right? So Jim wants to build a new stadium. Why not start sooner rather than later? You really think they're gonna risk this season and waiting till next season to start building the stadium when there's reports of bricks falling, there's a waterfall in the roof, the toilets are leaking. It's going to take tens of millions just to repair those things, which is definitely going to set us back. So in my honest opinion, guys, brace yourselves, because you might be getting late reports at the end of the summer that Man United might be playing from Wembley for next season, because maybe we might start building the stadium early. And I'm just saying this from perspective and suspected information that I've heard, and I'm just feeling like this might be the best decision for the club going forward. And as a smart and astute businessman as Sir Jim Ratcliffe claims to be, I think he should be seeing that as well. Rajat, Vinny, or Endrick, I think that's unrealistic. Endrick was signed for what, 60 million. He has a ridiculous contract. But Vinny, the only way I see us getting Vinny is if we sell Marcus Rashford for 60, 70 million pounds. And that's the only reason I could see us getting Vinny. If we sell Marcus Rashford, then possibly maybe use that money and go in for Vinicius Jr., who, I think might be willing to take the move rather than risk, a starting position next to Kylian Mbappe, who may not be playing at striker, which a lot of people might be thinking. You know what I mean? It's either him or Rodrigo. One of them are going to suffer when Kylian Mbappe arrives, because remember, guys, next season, Endrick's supposed to be starting striker at Madrid. So it's going to be a lot to look at, a lot to think about. And, if it's one thing you have to say, guys, we all said 18 months ago we're going to have patience. This manager truly overachieved last season, right? And now, because he overachieved, we all expected to finish top 4, compete in the Champions League, and probably reach the knockout round. Well, Ironall was hoping that we reach the knockout round of the Champions League, but at the same time, I didn't think we were going to win a trophy this season in the Premier League. I didn't think we were going to compete for the league, because when I saw the transfer window and we started the season with 16 players injured, as well as, the way the team started playing, learning this new system, I was like, it's going to be a long season. We're going to lose 10 Premier League games. And you know what? We lost 14. And it hurts, guys. But, we still have a chance to redeem it somewhat by lifting that FA Cup. Yeah, so be positive, guys. It's one of those things. Who was the other Palace player who scored in their last 5-0 win? I don't know, bro. Can't remember. I think it was Eze, Eberici Eze. I think he's a good player, though. You know what I mean? Vinny J, I'm telling you guys, could you imagine him running out in the red of a Manchester United? You know what you're gonna get week in, week out from that guy. He's gonna be dribbling, he's gonna be playing balls into the box, and he's gonna be scoring goals. You know what? I'm getting excited thinking about Vinny, but at the same time, let's leave that for late. I think any marquee signings might be coming into the window sometime late, possibly somewhere in the region of late July, maybe August, after all the sales, the outgoings, and we have already bought in like the bolstering players to the squad. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, guys. Stay patient, stay focused. The FA Cup final is this weekend. I'm going to bring you guys the match preview tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow morning, guys, 11 a.m. UK time. I'm definitely going to be here. I'm going to be dropping some scouting reports of some possible players that we could be getting in on a shoestring budget, as well as some signings that we could possibly bring in late in the window as marquee signings. So, guys, stay tuned for more information. Big up to all of you joining. Big up to you, Rajat. Big up to you, DJ Superfly, and big up to all of you on X watching. I hope you guys smash a retweet, smash a like, come into YouTube, smash a like, hit a subscribe. If even if you don't watch it, you know what I mean? It would be nice to help the channel grow, guys. Help me get to 200 subs. I mean, I wish this month I could be celebrating getting to 500 subs because, I need 1,000 to get to monetization. So I'm hoping to achieve that sometime. Hopefully I get blessed with that, and you guys, show me your support. I would be much appreciated. And thank you guys. If they sack Eric Ten Hag, Rajat, that's a tough question before I go. If they sack Eric Ten Hag, I'm not too sure. Who's the next manager? There's lots of reports out there. There's possible reports of De Zerbi, possible reports of of McKenna coming in. There's also Tommy Tuchel, who's about to be unemployed. He's unemployed at this moment because Bayern have no games left and they got dropped up in their final game. So he's sitting on the couch at home hoping for a call back. There's also Mauricio Pochettino, who just left by mutual agreement from Chelsea. We've all seen what happened with Chelsea this season, but at the same time, they had a resurgence in the end and they're finishing above us in a Europa League spot. So it's tough, guys. It's tough. And to be honest, I mean, I'm mad, but I'm not so mad because I'm really patient. And I just feel like as a fan, a lot of fans think that De Zerbi is going to be a great coach. But I'd argue this question with you. Do you want to look good and lose football games? Because I don't want to enjoy a game I'm going to lose. You know what I mean? So we could all talk about De Zerbi plays good football, but he plays a losing brand of football because he loses. That's what he does best. He's lost over 14 games by a 4-goal margin or more. I mean, he lost to AEK Athens. My cuz scored a goal against him. You know what I mean? This guy banged him, at home at the Amex. AEK Athens banged up at the Amex, guys. You know what I mean? And that was early in the Europa in his campaign in what it was, the Europa League or something like that. So we're gonna possibly win the FA Cup. I hope so, and get ourselves into Europa League next season. You know what? Maybe we might be the ones lifting the cup next season. It's very possible. This manager has shown that, with a little backing and a little patience, he gets us to consistent cup finals. And that's with a little backing and a little patience. Imagine if we give him some more backing and some more patience, guys. You know what I mean? Because we haven't been to back-to-back cup finals in over 6 years. Do you know that, guys? You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you have to, at least take a step back and say, you know what? It's not all bad. And we were in a rebuild anyway. It's factual that we were in a rebuild. And our rebuild has not been progressing well, to be fair. So it's 3 cup finals in 18 months. That's a good achievement, guys. I'm pretty sure we are all disappointed in the same way that we didn't finish in a European spot, but we could still attain one. If we win this final, that's 2 trophies in his first 2 seasons. Let that sink in, guys. Top managers, and they talked about it. Klopp, Pep, all the top managers, they all won their domestic league cups in their first season. And even if they had a poor season afterwards, they came back stronger. Why can't Eric Ten Hag, guys? We're finally implementing a really, really good structure that's a lot, like I would say 5 to 10 times better than what we had before in terms of we know these guys are very capable, in the footballing world. They're not just good businessmen. They're really good at dealing with football, right? Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, and whether it's Dan Ashworth or Dougie Friedman, it's going to be a good structure behind a manager who we've seen succeed for 4 consecutive seasons at Ajax before coming to United. And after leaving Ajax, we've seen how Ajax was abysmal. They didn't even finish in the top 10 the season he left. The second season, they finished 4th or something, this season, or 3rd or something like that. But understand what I'm saying to you guys. People say that Ajax would have won without him, but they couldn't. Just imagine that. This guy overachieved. And suddenly we forgot that we were supposed to be having patience for a rebuild. suddenly a lot of fans think that we were never in a rebuild. Suddenly, a lot of fans forget that we have had problems signing players in the past by overspending and throwing money at the problem because our negotiators wasn't great. So now they blame Eric Ten Hag. Some fans blame Eric Ten Hag for injuries because of training. But I argue when other teams have just as heavy training sessions and their players get injured, why aren't their managers getting the blame? You know, we have had a bad season, guys. But we have had 65 injuries and illnesses and for absences in this season. 65, most in the club history. You know what I mean? That means we had 16 players ill while we had 38 players or 39 players, I think. No, 49 players injured this season. That's crazy. That's crazy metrics. And despite that, the inconsistencies of who was available, we spent 9 months of the season in top 6 and fell out at the end with some poor calls to the VAR. And I think that was terrible. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it was a rebuild season. I felt like the team was always going to take some time to learn this system because, as we know, Ajax football is a very complicated, free-flowing style. And while a lot of fans think that, Eric Ten Hag should have played this style from the beginning, look at yourselves and remember 21-22 season. Do you guys really think that the majority of these players are capable? While there are some players that are capable of playing his style, where would the depth come from? We would have no substitutions. We don't even have a full squad of Ten Hag players who can play the Ten Hag way. We have just about 9 players who start regularly who couldn't play that way. We still need to bolster a squad in that same mold. This is what's called squad rebuilding. Squad rebuilding doesn't happen in one season or two. And we know in his second summer, he wanted defenders. He wanted midfielders, but he had to keep what he had because the club didn't want to sell. And then in the winter window, guys, we've seen that he was linked to lots of players like Giorgio Scalvini and these guys. And we had FFP issues. We couldn't sign anyone to fix the problems. He was failed by a medical staff, who was clearing players for fit, but they weren't doing the best possible job that they could be doing because you know what? These players will keep getting injured and re-injured. And then he has to take the blame because he's the manager. But just remember, guys, if they sack Ten Hag now, it delays our transfers. It delays our progress, our steps forward, because this manager might want to assess players who we think and are convinced should be leaving Manchester United. Big up to all of you joining. Rajat, I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much for all of you guys being here. I hope you have a good night. I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. UK. Smash those likes and subscribe. Don't forget to hit those notification bells so you can see when I'm live. And I will bringing you the morning view with a scout report special of at least 10 players I have confirmed reports that we are scouting heavily and heavily interested in trying to get their signature. I'm not too exact sure of who's number one in some positions, but I know there's 1 or 2 players who are top the list that you may not have been thinking about because the British media has been showing you lots of players that they want us to buy. They're not showing us the full scale, the full list, or the full opportunities that are open and offered to Manchester United in this market, guys. So stay blessed, guys. Catch you all tomorrow. Hope you guys have a safe night. Enjoy your evenings. It's been your boy, MarkN, MUFC fan, with the update. Manchester United news, the Manchester press conference ahead of the FA Cup clash versus Manchester City. It's a derby, a second season in a row. Guys, let's go for the win. Glory, glory, Manchester United, as we ride all the way from Wembley with the cup back to Manchester. Big up to all of you for watching.